Hello everybody and welcome back for the new VR news. As always, I am Mateo311 and this is your one channel for everything VR related. Today, we have a lot to cover, including an impressive new standalone VR headset. We're having that same debate of is 2020 the make it or break it year for VR? And of course, I'm going to be giving you the latest in hardware, software, and gaming VR news. Just a reminder guys, I am giving away a VR headset. You can find that and all other relevant links to today's topics in the description. If you end up enjoying this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, comment, and consider subscribing. Okay guys, let's get into this. First up, in the game news, I wanted to mention a Kickstarter for the game Untitled Quest. It's actually being developed by my personal friend Wishful, and he's made some amazing progress in a really short time. Now this game isn't quite like anything else currently out there, and it's filled with plenty of in-game activities to suck up your time. Now I actually even read some lines for the intro, so go check out the Kickstarter, consider supporting it, and let me know if you can spot my voice in the trailer. Next up, after 3 months, Borderlands 2 VR finally gets Valve Index support. Now, I'm going to assume with such a long delay, the majority of gamers have already moved on to the multitude of better options available. If you were waiting for this, well, now's your time to jump in, but for me, it's too little too late. Now, while Gearbox was fumbling around to get proper index support, the developers for T of God were busy implementing some truly clever hand tracking gestures into their game. So gestures like making a gun with your hand will actually bring up your gun in game. It's definitely far from perfect, and I'm still extremely skeptical when it comes to hand tracking in games, but I love to see any type of clever innovation. So now, not only will this game have you constantly spinning circles, but it'll have you shooting finger guns around your room. Our next topic is for the RPG tabletop fans out there. We have two promising VR tabletop adaptations. The first is Tavern Tales. Now this is currently in a closed beta, and this title is very similar to Tabletop Simulator, but it's been created for VR and it's centered around role-playing. There's already an excessive amount of miniatures available to use in this game. The next game is actually the incorporation of a Dungeon Master toolset into the game Neo's VR. If you're not familiar with Neo's VR, it's very similar to VR Chat. Unlike Tavern Tables, which is designed to simulate tabletop gaming only, playing in Neo's VR allows you to physically shrink down and enter into the game world. Or you have the option of simulating tabletop play, and it can even be used in a manner similar to the website Roll20. They are in the process of implementing every feature you can imagine, and there is an excellent developer log that's been titled Del VR, where you can get some really good updates on the progress they are making. Now, I just need to find some free time to go ahead and check this out. So I always like to finish off the game news with something free for you guys to check out, and this one goes hand in hand with the ongoing discussion regarding side quests. As games get rejected from the Oculus Store, they usually end up on side quests, and even recently as paid applications. Currently, there is a title that has been downloaded more than any other game, and that is Crisis Vrigade. Now this title plays a bit similar to the classic arcade shooter Time Crisis, and it's really fun and quite challenging, and for the life of me I cannot understand why Oculus rejected this game. So go ahead, grab this game on SideQuest, you will not regret it. Okay guys, moving into the software news, but continuing on the topic of the Oculus Quest, Unity now supports Vulkan with the Oculus Quest. If you are not familiar with Vulkan, it is a low-level API that allows game engines to talk directly to the physical hardware. So this would cut out the middleman like the OS and the hardware drivers. This just simply means the potential for better performance in Unity games. Now this is definitely not a silver bullet, and there is still a lot of specialized development that has to go into getting a VR game to perform optimally on a mobile device. But Vulkan is definitely going to help in the future. But now we need to stop and discuss a different type of performance, mainly hardware and software sales and the overall future of VR. VR adoption has continued to climb over the last 4 years, but at a much slower rate than originally anticipated. While we do hear really promising sales numbers, such as the Oculus Store selling $5 million in content on Christmas Day alone, and the number of Steam users with VR headsets actively plugged in and in use has increased 75% in the last year alone, up to a new high of 1.3 million actively connected headsets. But these numbers are still actually quite minute compared to the overall gaming industry. The Oculus Store would need those insane Christmas Day sales numbers almost every single day of the year just to match the $1 billion that EA makes in microtransactions alone. And these numbers have kept AAA publishers from putting any serious money into the development of a VR game. And we continually see companies like Microsoft and even Facebook at times doubt the future of VR. And the latest to express their skepticism is Jesse Schell from Schell Games. And while Jesse and the company are true believers in VR, and they have put out the amazing I Expect You to Die, and are currently developing the very promising Until You Fall, Jesse still believes that 2020 might be the make it or break it year for VR. He believes if a product like the Oculus Quest that brings a standalone unit, a reasonable price, a significantly easier user experience than traditional PC VR, and high quality games, well, if this isn't enough to get people to believe in VR, then absolutely nothing is. Now, we've already heard this argument, and also VR is dead year after year. And I don't see the reason why there would be any true time limit on a product that is profitable and people are truly passionate about. But what we have seen for sure is all it takes is one game announcement like Half-Life Alyx to make both the Oculus Quest and Valve Index sell out overnight. So maybe the Oculus Quest isn't that full push that we really need. Maybe there's another product on the horizon that just might do it. Speaking of new products, there was just a press conference for the new LYNX headset. Unfortunately, the live stream had no audio. I do, however, have all the technical information, and I'm gonna give it to you guys right now. Now I'm officially naming the LYNX-R1 the Oculus Quest on steroids. Now this headset will be the first to use the new Qualcomm Snapdragon XR2 platform. Now the XR1 platform was designed to be the minimal introduction to AR and VR. And the XR2 is designed to really push the boundaries forward. But one more bit of unfortunate news is the company is currently targeting the medical, military, and industrial industry. They're not currently aiming to make this a consumer product. And that's also evident in the $1,500 price tag. And that's an absolute shame because at a more reasonable price tag, this really could have been the higher end Quest option for people, and developers would be able to get their Oculus Quest games looking much closer to their PC VR versions. This headset has two 1600 by 1600 resolution screens, a 90-degree field of view, and a 90 Hz refresh rate. Now that resolution combined with the smaller field of view equates to an extremely high pixel density. This headset does use inside-out tracking. There are two black and white cameras, two RGB, and even two IR eye tracking cameras. The newly designed optics allow the headset to be much more compact, and ergonomics are at the forefront of this design. There was no discussion of the OS used for this device, but I will assume they'll go with Android, and the expected battery life is 2 hours of active use. This is basically an enthusiast level Oculus Quest, and I really hope this is the future of standalone devices. The increased performance on the XR2 platform, in conjunction with eye tracking and foveated rendering, can really lead to some near PC level experiences, all without having to be tethered to a PC. So I'm absolutely hoping this is the future of consumer devices. Now, while I think my Oculus Quest is great, there's a huge amount of room for improvement. I rarely use it due to the discomfort and the overall lack of visual fidelity compared to my Valve Index. So if we could bridge that gap, this would become my device of choice. Okay everybody, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and ding that bell, and I will see you guys on next time.